Welcome to the Why We Advocate podcast. I'm your host, Jasmine Uribe, and joining us today is Nova's Executive Director, Claire Ponder Selib. We're excited to talk to you all about advocacy and the initiatives that Nova has planned for our community. So let's dive right in. Hi, Claire, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
We are excited to have you. So let's jump into our first question. Can you shed some light on the importance of meeting the moment and why Nova 51 is going virtual this year?
Absolutely. So, as you know, it was a challenging decision to go virtual this year. However, it really became very clear to me that we needed to go virtual. As we looked at the landscape, we started hearing from advocates across the country, community advocates, campus advocates, military advocates, our entire community about how they were being impacted by the funding cuts, travel restrictions. And one of the things that's always been so important to us is meeting our community where they're at and making sure that our conference is inclusive and accessible for the entire advocate community. And when it became clear that so many of members of our community would not be able to join us in person, as much as we love to see everyone in person, I look forward to our conference every single year. It was clear we had to go virtual in order to make sure that every single member of our community could join us.
Yes, Claire, and I love that. It's hearing from our community and ensuring that we're creating the opportunity for as many advocates as possible. So, what has inspired you the most about some of the feedback that you've received since we decided to go virtual?
What's inspired me the most is hearing from our community. The moment we decided to go virtual, we sent out a video, we sent out an e-blast, and I started hearing from advocates all across the country, really across the world, because as you know, we also have advocates across the world about how excited they were that Nova had made this decision and that we had heard them. And that to me is how we always, as a national agency, have to be hearing our community and meeting our community where it's at. And so recognizing how many members of our community would not have been able to join us had we not gone virtual was so exciting. The other part that I have just loved seeing is seeing all of the initiatives that our community has become involved in. We started planning these watch parties across the country. I think we now have watch parties in every state and territory, which is so exciting to see advocates building communities within their community, which is what we're all about at Nova.
Yes, that community of advocates, right, is really important and meeting the moment. So, taking the opportunity, Claire, as our fearless leader, to stop, hear, and reflect on what our community was really saying. And the fact that we will have watch parties all over just shows why coming together is really important and how powerful our community is when we really work together. Although we're not going to be in person and we're going to be virtual, we'll still be celebrating community. So I'm really excited for those opportunities that Nova has created and that so many advocates are really supporting and joining in on. So, how do you hope to continue to meet the moment for our advocates at conference and beyond?
I see Nova really as the national voice for victim advocates. We are a membership-based organization. We're a community of victim advocates for victim advocates. And part of our responsibility to me as the national voice for victim advocates is to always be hearing what the needs of the field are and elevating them on a national level. And so we know that the field and the victim advocacy workforce is in many ways in crisis right now, as we are facing unprecedented funding cuts and other challenges. We will continue to build trainings, tools, other ways to support our community as we continue to see different challenges.
Great. Thanks so much, Claire. So if you haven't already, please register to attend Nova's 51st annual training event. It's a spot for all advocates. Nova 51 is for you. We like to say that, and we mean it. So, Claire, I'm going to get us to our last question now, and it's a play on the name of our podcast. So, our podcast is the Why We Advocate podcast. What is your why? What keeps you going when you're doing this work and helping us celebrate community and connect communities?
I was thinking about this going into today, and I think for me, one of the things that's really important is reflecting upon how my why has changed over time. That I started in this work, and I'm sure, like so many advocates, for deeply personal reasons. And was really passionate about becoming involved in sexual assault advocacy work and became involved as a college student and then stayed involved. One of the things that's been exciting for me to see is how our profession continues to grow and evolve. And so when I think about what my why is now, I think about all of the advocates that I've met through the years, all of the survivor advocates, and all of the survivors that they're working with, and the incredible impact that we as an advocate community are having and are continuing to grow in terms of our impact on survivors of all forms of crime. And so I feel a lot of responsibility and also a lot of excitement about what we can do as a field. And so what keeps me going every day is thinking about how can we continue to evolve? How can we continue to build a better future for advocates and ultimately for all survivors of crime? And that to me is where NOVA is at and what drives me personally every single day of work.
Thanks so much, Claire. I feel so inspired by your words, by the work that Nova is doing, the fact that we will still have our 51st annual training event virtually, but we're still focused on celebrating community. We're meeting the moment. And thank you all for listening to this episode of the Why We Advocate podcast. Listen in to the following episodes to learn more about those strategies and ways that we are actually helping you all connect, learn, and grow this summer. Thank you so much, Claire, for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you all for listening to this podcast. Tune in to the next episode to learn more about how NOVA is connecting and celebrating communities. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Can't wait to see you at conference.